All right, so you want to get really good at chess. Where do you start? It's got to be the opening, right? You dive into the Sicilian defense, you memorize all the lines of the Queen's Gambit. But what if I told you that's all completely backwards? Yeah, let's get into it, because today we're exploring this really radical idea from a classic chess text that argues the real game of chess, well, it actually begins at the end.
Just look at this. This one sentence from the master Miguel Zerniak's book, El Final, completely flips conventional chess wisdom on its head. And he doesn't just say it's a bad idea, he calls it a serious pedagogical error. This isn't some high-level theory just for grandmasters, you know? It's a direct challenge to how most of us learn, basically saying we've been trying to build our chess house from the roof down.
So why was Cherniak so passionate about this? Well, he spotted this huge blind spot in what he called the modern player. And honestly, it's a problem that's probably even more relevant today than it was back then.
What's so fascinating here is the psychology behind it all. Think about it. We spend hours, days, memorizing complicated opening lines, hoping to get that perfect start. But the end game, we kind of treat it with, as he says, a certain disdain. And that creates this incredibly dangerous gap in our skills. You can play a brilliant opening, build up this huge advantage over 20 moves, and then you get to the finish line and you have no clue how to actually win. It's like building this beautiful, sleek race car, but forgetting to put an engine in it.
And the results of ignoring the endgame? They're just so frustrating. I mean, Cherniak saw this stuff all the time. Players literally needing to look up how to do a basic checkmate. Or worse, offering a draw in a position they are completely winning. Or they just give up and resign in games that are theoretical draw. All that hard work, all that great play in the beginning, just gone, wasted, all because they never learned the most critical phase of the game.
Okay, so if starting with openings is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's actually really simple, and it's totally logical. You start at the end, and you work your way backward. Let's break down what that actually looks like.
Let's just hit the pause button for a second and ask the most basic question there is. Forget all the theory, forget your favorite style of play. When you sit down at that board, what are you actually trying to accomplish?
That's it. Simple as that. To checkmate the enemy king. Every single move you make, from move 1 to the very last one, should be pointed toward that ultimate goal. And the endgame? That's the purest, most direct expression of that goal. It's where the objective is right there in front of you, clear as day.
So this is Cherniak's more logical path. Instead of starting with these fuzzy, abstract ideas, you start with absolute certainty. First, you learn how to win. You learn to deliver checkmate with just a couple of pieces. Then, you learn how to get those pieces by promoting pawns. Once you truly understand the winning positions you're aiming for, your whole strategy for the opening and the middle game just clicks into place. You're not just making good moves anymore. You're actively steering the game toward an ending you know for a fact you can win. But here's the thing. It's not just about the order you learn things. The endgame teaches you a totally different, and I'd argue, a much more important way of thinking than the opening ever could.
Just look at this breakdown. Openings are often about your personal style, what you prefer, and just memorizing a ton of popular lines. There can be like a dozen good moves in any given position. But the endgame? Oh, the endgame is a world of cold, hard logic. As Cherniak said, only one road leads to Rome. There is often a single correct path to victory, and you can't find it by remembering something. You have to find it with pure reason.
And that's the key takeaway right there. The endgame teaches you how to think like a chess player. It forces you to calculate, to plan ahead, to understand the raw power of each piece. It's like a workout for your chess brain that builds fundamental skills instead of just stuffing your head with memorized moves.
Okay, so this focus on logic leads us to maybe the most important skill the endgame teaches you, how to actually form a plan. Because in the endgame, a single good move means absolutely nothing if it isn't part of a clear, step-by-step idea.
Take a look at this really simple position. It's white to move. Now, it's not enough to just find one decent move here. What's the plan? What's the logical sequence of moves that is guaranteed to lead to a win? How are you going to get that pawn to the other side of the board?
So the winning idea here isn't just to shove the pawn forward. No, it's what Cherniak calls a semicircular flanking maneuver. The white king has to travel around the black king, outflanking it and forcing it out of the way. You're basically using your king like a bodyguard to clear a path for the pawn. And that's a precise, logical plan.
You don't guess your way into this. You figure it out by understanding the geometry of the board and the power of the kings. And that's the real heart of it all. The endgame teaches you that chess isn't just a game of one-off moves, it's a game of plans. When you master these simple positions, you learn the discipline of setting a goal and then logically executing every step to get there. And that skill right there is the true foundation of a master.
So if you want to build your chess skills on a solid foundation of rock instead of sand, the endgame is where you have to start. It's not the last chapter of the book, it's the preface to the entire thing.
Let's finish up with this last piece of wisdom from Cherniak. Chess, when it's at its best, is this creative, logical, really human game, and just relying on memorization, that's a crutch, and it stops you from ever learning to walk on your own. The endgame throws that crutch away and forces you simply to think.
So really, the question for anyone who wants to get better at chess is pretty simple. Are you happy just remembering the moves other people have played, or are you ready to learn the logic that'll let you find the winning moves all by yourself? The endgame holds the key.